Firstly, Butle, it seems like you're not just touching footballers from what we are listening to here. You are just touching people as a whole also. Is that also the plan?
Yes. It's actually, I feel like that message was more of that, and I feel like, like I posted, I urge people to be rich in all things. That's what actually I wrote on the post down there. So me saying I urge people to be rich in all things, I mean, don't just be rich, how can I say, physically, but be rich also spiritually, because it's so important. How many people are rich, are billionaires, but their kids are in drugs, but the minute you are a billionaire and you are rich physically, but also rich spiritually, there's no way that your children will be lost to the enemy.
And talking about children, there was a question about what do your kids eat? And I think the perception is that because you are not playing and you walked away from your contract, or maybe some people might have read your message as saying basically that you've lost everything. So how do you respond to that?
Okay, yeah, number one, actually, what I said there about the contract, I said, when Jesus visited me, he didn't say anything, but, it was more of, trying to say there's something in you, and I might want to use you, So materialistic things, where somehow, detached from me, in a sense of saying, you can't rely on this contract anymore. You have to rely on faith, You can't boast on this particular car, because cars can become idols, money can become an idol, we worship these things without knowing. But rather, worship something, and that you are spiritually so fit and prospering, and physically also prospering. That's the whole message. And I felt also the only way is Jesus Christ. And that's it. Receive him, and then like another caller said, I must not impose. Sorry that I was saved, by Jesus Christ. So that's why I'm actually, being open about it. He was hated, insulted, and he did decisions that actually many people were against it. But the lives of many were saved through that. Yeah. So I want to go to the first one, who spoke about how do I feed my kids?
Yes.
Yeah, one thing, I want to be honest, the grace of God actually has kept me. Yeah, it has kept me because of, he'll give me just small ideas, and from those small ideas, they'll put up a meal for my kids, and when I speak about small ideas, it came through, again, when I was still playing, I was selling things when I was still playing, I would tell you, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. So few of the players know my background, to say, hey, that one is, he'll find something and sell it to us. He'll find something. So even today,
what kind of things were you selling?
I wanted to sell some trackers. I remember one time it failed because I did not have a proper support system. I left it. I wanted to sell some car parts. Again, it failed. Then I got now this one where I'm selling what players are using, strapping and stuff, and that actually kept me. It kept me because of, like I said, I was now being taught not to live. You can live in abundance, but be spiritually able to to maintain the abundance. Don't maintain the abundance in the physical, because you'll actually end up nowhere. So I also ventured trying to build up something of sportswear, and those are the things actually that I normally use to but the grace of God has kept me because of those small ideas. Selling maybe a bandage for 18 rand, it looks stupid, but there's something behind it that it's in retail, and it's not my space, but because of how God wanted to do certain things, I had to, be doing those things. Yeah.
And in your post, you say that the day Jesus Christ visited me, I never knew that all this will be taken away from me by him, just for my soul to be saved. And
Amen.
that's the second sentence. Amen. After you say, I remember I used to post about my numbers Amen. On my contract, not knowing that my soul was suffering. And I think how some people have interpreted it and how they want to know is that then have you lost the money, because you do reveal your figures in your contract.
Okay, so actually that is a testimony that what Jesus did for me. Number one, he gave me that big contract. After he gave me that big contract, when the team was sold, I was the one who did not find a solution, yet I was contracted. So that contract, somehow it never materialized to become what it was supposed to be. So I suppose I now ended up with having court cases, this and that, And when I joined SuperSport, it was no longer those figures that were actually there from the Bidvest contract, So I continued to own another contract with SuperSport, but that was the biggest contract that I've ever had.
Which one?
The one of Vets. It was about a 7-year deal. So there it's only the last 3 years, but it was actually that what I got. So that last 3 years, I started, I had pride in me because of these things, and I felt like, but this thing actually have made me to live like any other person. But when this thing started to happen, court cases, team being sold, then I started to understand, but why everybody has been signed and found teams, but me yet I'm a top player, and I'm not on the papers of drinking this and that. Why it has come to me? That's when I started to realize, actually that's why I got this visitation to say, do not rely on all what you see,
So it's not because you lost everything, it's because you lost that contract.
Yes.
And that's when you realized what basically. And for those who didn't see the post, I mean, we can share it now because you've put it up on social media. He reveals that from the 1st of July 2018 to the 30th of June 2019, he was getting paid 195,000 Rand a month. And then the following year, 2019 to 2020, it was 175,000 Rand a month. And then the third year, it was 190,000 from the 1st of July 2020 to the 30th of June 2021. But like it's just said now, these are the last 3 years of what was a 7-year contract. And on top of this, there were signing on fees. Were you receiving them every year?
Yeah.
Is it?
They were signing on fees as well, receiving them every year, And I feel like, there's more for me to reveal regarding, a whole lot of things that, people don't know about, myself, and also a lot of things, Let me just say, there's many that people actually will get to know and hear, and more it will be about, club bosses actually, that I've once met and, spoke with, and, all spiritual things that I feel like, things that are so hidden that are not visible to the eye, people will begin to hear them. And I feel like that's where people could actually receive Christ.
Why do you feel they need to come to light, these things?
Because, I feel the edge that people can't go through the same thing and there's no solution every time, So I feel like when I started, to begin to serve Christ and, be showed things, visions, dreams, all those things. And it was revealed to me to say, like I said, I'll reveal more things, things that are so deep that actually, they'll come to the simple people and their eyes will be, boom, opened, So I feel like there's more for people to hear,
And you mentioned your case with TTM after Bidvest Vets was sold, and they was basically supposed to take on the responsibilities, financial responsibilities of the players that were at Bidvest Vets. And one of the reasons you didn't move, we were told, is that they didn't take over that responsibility. The matter went to court. I remember the agent was telling us. Was it eventually sorted?
To be honest, I wouldn't want to touch, most of things about court cases and stuff, and I feel like, things are just, the way they were supposed to be, Let me just put it like that, I wouldn't want to, bring up that thing, because we are in the new era. We are, it's just a thing that is usually, it's wrapped and it's, sealed wherever, So I wouldn't.
You've let it go.
I don't want to give you a yes or a no, Let me.
So are you trying to say that it's not about money anymore? Because at the time we were made to believe, obviously, you were fighting for your money.
Yeah, so that's that's what I'm saying. When I met this boss, I told him that it's not about money, it's about you being saved. It's about what God is saying. So that's what I'm saying. It was beyond the contract. Me, I thought it was a contract, but only later when I went, I was like, I received a different message. It's not about the contract, but it's about the soul of a person.
So are you saying football no longer defines who you are? Or it's never defined who you are?
Actually, at first we thought actually it defines who we are. But, I feel like, it was something that was hidden, by God, to a point whereby only at a certain time it will be revealed to say, you guys are not just playing, but I've made you guys to be there. Because when you look at this, back then there was no money in sport. But out of nothing, something was created, So out of nothing, something was created. So how are we feeding our families? We did not go to school for this thing. We didn't nothing. I just ended at matric. Others, they don't even have matrics, but they are feeding people as if they are CEOs. You get me? So something was created out of nothing, and this is the sport that actually has taken place. That as you play, remember that somebody called you to go and play. There are players that when they play, people rejoice to a point whereby they get healed without knowing, and there are players that actually, when they are not there, their families actually suffer within their spirit, saying, where is this player? They're not just crying, but it's something that this player is doing to this family. Yet the player does not know that you are changing families and lives. If we do the right thing, automatically people will be set free and they actually enjoy why they must be playing the game. Not just play it for their money, but play it with a certain, mentality to say, I'm here and I'm called and I have to set people free, and this must be something good to the generation that is coming.
And do you feel that there's a place for people with a mentality like yours and spiritual beliefs like yours in football, because you are revealing contracts, you're saying you're going to share later on? Is there no fear of being victimized?
No, it's not like bad things that actually I'll be revealing more. It will be just spiritual things where, just open discussions to say where I'm at in terms of my spiritual life, decisions of how it comes about, to say no to a vaccine. Why? Because I said I saw it in a dream, and, Satan can speak to a dream, but also Jesus Christ can speak to a dream. So it's all about, somebody just, you trusting to what you know and what you hear, and how do you actually sit and receive what actually is put on your table.
But you still want to continue playing football?
Actually, I'm playing football. I'm, like I told you, I'm training. Yeah. So I'm still playing football. I'm, training there.
Do you want to return to top flight football? Does it matter where you play?
I think it does not matter where I play, but I would like to return on the basis of saying, once people understand that, there are policies that I had to follow. You can't go against that. So if I can't go against that, you can't force yourself in. But like Djokovic, I think he was only allowed later on when certain things were open for him.
Yeah. It
didn't put him aside, it didn't crush him, but it built him to become who he is today, a top player,
And you believe you'll come back and be the top player that we know you to be?
Yeah, I've always been a top player, and I feel like I'll flourish in everything, in all things, but be rich in all things, spiritually and also physical things.
Okay. And just finally, is there a reason why you scratched out the signing on fee in that post?
Yeah, actually, I didn't want people to see the numbers there.
Okay. Yeah. No, fair enough. But you're a brave man, Buhle Mkhwanazi. I think you have given us a powerful interview here, a man that stands by his beliefs here, and you clearly want people to see the light, and you want especially your peers to see the light. You were even telling me before we came on that people have been calling you today to saying that they are inspired by that post, and we just wish you all the best, and we do hope for us also as the football community to see you back on the field of play. But with the calling that you have, we also wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Thabiso. Thanks for the interview today.